Hi, everyone. Tonight I'm speaking to Jamie from Marking.ai. For those of you who know me, you know that I really love the way AI can actually change the way we teach and how it can really help us in a school environment. And it can really help teachers in terms of saving time and in all sorts of different ways to be used by you as the teacher and by the students. And tonight we're going to be talking about the product called Marking.ai. So hi, Jamie. I'm really excited to be chatting to you this evening.
Hi there, Karen. Great to see everybody, and thank you so much for having me.
Could you tell us a little bit about Marking.ai and the background? Where did it come from?
Absolutely. So I've been working in EdTech for about 6 years now. I've been working at numerous different companies, numerous different institutions, physical brick and mortar schools, online schools. But I think one of the most common things that I've seen in all of these experiences is the challenges that educators face when it comes to the marking process. If you talk to any teacher, I'm sure they'll attest to the fact that marking is extremely time consuming, but also it's challenging because you can't always give the extent of the feedback that you want to every single learner, just because that would be such a burdensome and time-consuming process. So I spent a lot of time speaking with teachers, with numerous different educators, and it was really apparent that this was a big challenge for them. And I think once upon a time, we weren't necessarily in a position to utilize AI to help us with the marking process, but fortunately now we are. We see that there's large language models that have been introduced, namely things like ChatGPT. And I think when that first came out, I was really intrigued to understand what ChatGPT and what large language models and AI could do when it came to helping teachers. So myself and my business partner got stuck in and started playing around with the available technologies. And we also chatted to a lot of teachers and really tried to understand the pain points and the challenges that they faced when it came to marking. So, initially it was really a case of sort of just playing around and just exploring what was out there and exploring the capabilities of AI and what it could do. But I think we quickly established that there was a place for AI in the marking process, and not that it could be the direct replacement for a teacher, but that it could certainly be a teacher's assistant and a teacher's best friend when it comes to marking. So yeah, that's what kind of where we're at, and I can tell you a little bit more about the journey. But yeah, I think I was really excited when these types of tools came out, and off the back of chatting to loads and loads of teachers and understanding their problems and playing around with the tools, we established that this could be a product that could really help everybody.
And for me, when I found out you were South African, that we have this really cool product and it's here, right here in our country, I was even more excited. So that's really exciting for me. Can you show us or tell us more about it? Where would you like to start?
Absolutely. So I'm sure everybody's really itching to see a demo and to see the capabilities of the AI. I think first and foremost, I'd just like to start by explaining that, explaining a little bit about sort of, using AI in the marking process, and perhaps what the benefits are, what some of the challenges are, perhaps even what some of the concerns are for teachers, because it's not necessarily for everybody. And I'm sure lots of people are skeptical when it comes to using AI, especially in some of your fundamental teaching processes. So I think let's start with something very sort of basic. And multiple choice questions have been around for a long time, and the capability to mark multiple choice questions using digital platforms has been around for a long time. But where the challenge really lies, and where the burden is on the teacher in terms of the time it takes them to mark, is the longer answer questions, the written answers, your essay questions, and that can be really challenging for a teacher when it comes to spending long hours and late nights marking. So that's, really where we are focusing. We're focusing on assisting the teacher to mark the longer answer questions and the essay questions in a streamlined way and provide really high quality, in-depth feedback to each particular learner. And that moves me on to talking about what the benefits of AI are in terms of providing that feedback and that feedback loop. And Karen, I'm sure you would agree with me that feedback loop is super important, right, for the learner.
And I don't think we do it enough. And so for me, when we can start giving children personalized feedback and making sure that the children can actually use the feedback to either fix what they don't understand or extend them, for me is just super exciting. So yes, that feedback loop is critical.
Absolutely. And I think when we first set out building the tool, as per the name, Marking.ai, we saw it as almost just a simple marking tool, in that, the AI would give you a grade or a number or, whatever marking method you're using. However, we've really come to realize that the challenge for the teacher is the ability to write really, high quality, personalized, in-depth feedback to the learner. And so that's where we've really tried to channel our focus in training the model to provide effective feedback.
So do you want to show us one of the models now? Do you want to go into a demo, or what would you like to do?
Absolutely, yeah. I can most certainly go into a demo. So you can see on the screen here, this is the Marking.ai interface. So you as a teacher will need to sign up. You'll need to sign up to our platform. It's a simple sign-up process. You input your first name, your last name, your email address, and your password. And then from there, you will now land on this particular screen. And this is where we're going to really demonstrate the magic to you. So as you can see here, we have the mark questions screen. And what we can do is we can create a submission for a particular student to a particular question. So I'm going to click create a submission here. And this basically opens.
Do you want to explain to people how you've actually trained the model and the content that's already in your model? I think that's also important to give people further context around the AI, specifically around your Marking.ai tool.
Absolutely. No, most definitely. So those of you will probably be aware that we have generic large language models such as ChatGPT. Google obviously have released theirs, and it's called Gemini, and we have the generic models. But the brilliant thing about AI is the capability and the ability to train it and to really fine tune it and hone it to be able to provide you with an output exactly, as to how you want it. So, we've got numerous different AI models that exist, but specifically with regards to us, we actually took a series of exam style questions and student answers to those questions. And we actually trained a model to understand how a teacher typically actually goes about marking those questions. And we also looked at the feedback that the teacher provides those students. So we use the open AI model, so that is the ChatGPT model, but a fine-tuned or trained version of that in order to provide very specific and tailored output. And I think that's the beauty of the AI. We're not just utilizing a generic thing here.
Yeah.
We've got something that is specifically trained and is consistently learning and getting enhanced in order to provide us with output that provides context.
I think that's very important because of the contextual basis and the significance then to a teacher, not just generally. I think that adds huge value.
Absolutely. Karen, I'm sure everyone's itching to see the demo. So you happy if I proceed?
Yes. Sorry.
Fantastic. No, absolutely. I'm hoping we can, our model this time can provide a really nice output and demonstrate its capabilities. So as I showed you, this is where I'm actually creating a submission. And what you can do is you can select one of your students from your class by clicking select student. I just have a demo student here because I'm obviously giving you guys all a demo. What you would do is you would preset up all your students from your class, so you can easily input, however many students you have from your class. You can import a list of students, and then they will appear here for you to be able to reference that student when you want to mark a question for them. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select a question to mark. So I've created 4 demo questions here. I've created a geography question, which is a 5-mark question about the greenhouse effect. I've got an essay here talking about William Shakespeare's Macbeth. And I have a history question about explaining the causes and consequences of the 1976 Soweto uprising. So I've got a choice of questions, and I must, again, highlight that these were pre-set up. So I've set them up. I'm not going to go through the process of setting up a question.
Can I just add to that? So for the people watching, it's not like Jamie actually made the questions. He chose the curriculum, he gave the context and the kind of question that he wanted, whether it was short answer, multiple choice, paragraphs, or a long essay. And then he asked the AI to create the question. So it wasn't like Jamie sat and thought of the questions. The model actually created these questions for him. Am I right?
That's correct. Yeah. So we can utilize the AI to create the questions for us. We don't have to. If you've got a set set of questions, from an exam paper or ones that you've previously created, you can use those as well. But we do have the functionality to allow the AI to produce questions for you. Great. Okay, Karen, I'm going to put you on the spot and allow you to choose one of our questions.
Should we do the history one?
Absolutely. Okay, so this is a 5-mark question. And another thing that I just want to highlight about the question itself is that I have created a marking guide as well, which is associated with that question. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you guys the marking guide after I've marked the question, so you can see how the student could have actually scored the marks. And this is really important. The marking guide is where you as a teacher still have control. So, the better you specify where marks should be scored, all the history teachers watching, I'm sure your brains are ticking already, thinking about what the associated marking guide would be for a question like this. It's important that we specify to the AI exactly how marks would be scored. The better quality the marking guide, we often see the better quality the marking. Okay, so I have my student and I have my question. And now I need to input my student answer. So I've got a pre-created student answer that I'm just going to copy into the box here. Okay, so this is a relatively basic answer. And again, those of you who are watching are probably reading it now thinking, oh, okay, how many marks is this going to score? Based on the particular answer. And I want you all, though, for those who are watching, I know you haven't seen the marking guide that I created, and I will get to that, but I want you to actually think about how many marks perhaps you would give this question out of 5 based on the answer. I've copied this text in digitally. You will see that there's also an option to submit a handwritten answer. So that's that's the text for a handwritten answer. I'm going to get to that as well. So yeah, I'm going to get to that shortly and talk about how we are able to process the handwritten answer. But I'm just going to go back and put my student answer in here digitally. Okay, so we're ready. We've got our student, we've got our question, and we've got our answer. And I'm going to click submit for marking. I've created one submission here. And we will get to, I'm going to click get marked in a minute and you're going to see the score. But the reason why I've taken you back to this page is because it highlights that you can create multiple submissions at once. So if you want to, for example, you might want to mark all your students for one question, all your students from the class for question 1 from the assessment. Or you might want to mark the entire assessment for one student all at once. And in order to do that, you would just create another submission, and then you would create all the submissions. So we would see lots of these items here. And then when we're ready, we'll click Get Marked. So I'm just going to do it for this one question here because we're focused on that. But I just wanted to highlight that you can do as many submissions as you want. So I'm clicking Get Marked here. And it's now marking our question. Typically, this will take about 10 seconds. We'll give the AI the benefit of the doubt here, but seldom, there we go, seldom would it be longer than 10 seconds. And we have our mark back. Here's one I did earlier. I was just testing, so please ignore that one. But the top one here shows the student, demo student, the question, and then the mark, 2 out of 5. But that's not it. If we click on View Details, now we can really see some of the good stuff. So we have our demo student, we have the question, and then we have the student mark, 2 out of 5. But now here's where it gets really interesting. And I think this is where we talked about the feedback earlier, Karen, and this is where it really comes into its own. So we have our feedback to student here. I'm not going to read it all out, but I'm going to highlight some key points. You have correctly identified one major cause of the uprising, which is the protest against the Afrikaans in schools. But then the AI goes on to say, to improve your answer and achieve full marks, consider expanding on your explanation of the causes and consequences. It talks about the why there was the use of the Afrikaans was so controversial, and providing specific examples or details to support how international condemnation impacted South Africa's apartheid policies. So
I mean, that's so exciting. So, I mean, as the teacher, you've got an answer there that actually tells the child how to answer the question critically and actually achieve a better mark in the future. It's almost teaching the child how to address questions critically, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. And we also have this AI justification, which is simply the AI now explaining to you as the teacher why it gave the 2 out of 5. And it's using the marking guide that we previously gave. And it's just explaining to you, just to give you that extra little bit of support and guidance and justification for why that mark was given. Now, AI isn't perfect. And we may find ourselves in scenarios where you disagree. You as the teacher might say, no, this answer actually does deserve a 3 as opposed to a 2. Or no, I actually do want to tweak that feedback slightly because I know my particular student is sensitive to specific feedback, or because I actually want to just add that extra piece of encouragement in. And this is where we can click edit the answer, the mark, and the feedback.
So can I just ask you to address this one question? So, hello, Jamie, a quick question. How should we cater for questions which have a possibility of different answers? Do you use keywords for the AI to predict, or do we have to write all the possible outcomes?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a great question. We're very fortunate with AI that it's able to use its own interpretation and it's able to apply its own element of subjectivity. So for you as a teacher, when marking those types of questions, I'm sure you need to utilize your discretion, and you obviously need to apply some kind of element of subjectivity. So if you explain to the AI in the marking guide, and I'm going to demonstrate the marking guide shortly. If you explain to the AI in the marking guide that you need it to be a little bit subjective and open-ended, and you need it to cater for specific scenarios, then it's got the capabilities and the open-endedness in order to do that. I'm going to say that if you have specific things to look out for, you would necessarily need to list those. But if it's, for example, an essay where there's a lot of permutations for how somebody could answer it, generally speaking, if you tell the AI to look out for that, then it performs well in terms of its evaluation.
And then another question that you've got says, what grade is this for? Is the feedback written depending on learners' reading level or age?
Absolutely. Yeah, great question again. Thank you very much for that. So this particular
Jamie, if you can hear me, we seem to have lost your response. I'm not sure if it's the signal. Can you just explain that again, please? We still can't hear you. Do you want to try again?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Perfect.
Perfect. Apologies for that, everybody.
No worries.
I'm going to answer your question about the different grades and the different feedback. So this is a grade 11 question, so it's in a little bit more depth, and you know, it's a little bit, as you can see, the feedback is a little bit more technical and relatively lengthy. But what you can do is you can create specific, when you create your question, you can specify the grade that you're creating it for, and then that will get utilized in the prompts to the AI to provide the AI with sufficient context when it comes to marking for that particular grade. So for example, if we're doing primary school, the AI will then tailor its feedback to a particular, you know, a primary school learner who's a little bit younger.
Yeah, so thanks. That's a great explanation. Did you want to now go on and show the marking, the memo kind of space and how that works?
For sure. So what I was just demonstrating here was the ability for someone to edit. You can edit the mark and the feedback if you disagree with the AI. So that's another interesting feature, and I hope that brings value to the teachers.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go to the marking guide now and demonstrate the marking guide.
While you're going there, I just want to say that feature which you've just spoken about also is great for moderation. So somebody else who needs to moderate what the teacher's done, they just hop in and moderate, looking at the comments and the marks as well. So all easy in one space. I think that helps from that point of view as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can see our question that you chose, Karen, here. Explain the causes and consequences of the 1976 Soweto uprising. And then if we click view question, here's where we can see our marking guide and our real detail for how we're prompting the AI on what to look out for. So we've specified that somebody would score the 1 mark for the identification of the causes, and then 1 mark for identifying at least one major cause, and then utilizing the example. We saw that the AI gave the mark for the Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. And then I'm not going to go down the whole marking guide, but what I've done here, and it's important to highlight, is that I've told the AI how the student would score each mark out of all of the 5 marks. And that's really valuable. We've seen performance on the AI model to be really good when it's structured like this. So for all the time that you save on marking by using this tool, we encourage you to spend that little bit of extra time thinking through how to construct your marking guide, because, you know, as we say, your output from the AI is only or sometimes as good as your input.
And can the AI help you create the marking guide?
AI in general can help you create the marking guide. So for those of you who are familiar with using something like ChatGPT, then you can always utilize a tool like that to help you. We've actually chosen not to build to utilize AI to build the marking guide. The reason why we've chosen not to do that, Karen, is we're a little bit skeptical that if a teacher then now uses AI to produce the marking guide and they're using AI to do the marking, it's it creates a little bit of a sort of redundancy for the teacher.
But also, if there's an error and they don't pick it up, then the error is then built into the model, which could add other implications in the long term. So that actually makes sense, that you use another tool to help you formulate how you want to mark. Double check it, always double check. Remember, it's AI, it's a tool. Double check it and then put it in here. And I think the way you've broken it down just makes so much sense, because you're feeding the information to the model that it'll mark it exactly the way you want it.
Exactly. And the way we encourage, the way we encourage teachers to construct their marking guide is, imagine you were training, perhaps you created an assessment, but then you were briefing other people to mark that assessment. So some of you may be moderators, some of you may have produced assessments in the past and shared them with your colleagues to then, test their class or their students. And we encourage you to think like that when you're producing your marking guide. How would you explain to somebody else how to mark that question? Because then that's the equivalent of how you explain to the AI as to how to mark that question.
Cool, thank you. So somebody said, is this recorded? So yes, these are recorded and they stay live in whichever platform you're on, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. You'll be able to watch this again if you've only hopped on now. So yes, you can watch it later. Cool. What's the next step you want to show us, or what would you like to demo further?
Would you like to see the handwriting?
That would be really great. And then we've got another question that I want to show. So once we've spoken about the handwriting, then there's another question that I want us to address.
Perfect. So I'm going to navigate back here to this mark questions block on the bottom, because I want to get another question marked.
Let's do the greenhouse one.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going through the same process, you'll recall. And as I mentioned, I've only set up one student with the demo, but you could have a whole list of students that you could select from. And this time we're going to mark explain the greenhouse effect and discuss the role of human activities in enhancing this effect, which is a grade 11 geography question worth 5 marks. This time, instead of inputting the student answer digitally, I'm going to click the cog here, which says submit handwritten answer instead. And that gives me the functionality to upload an image. So I think, I'm sure a few of you perhaps have questions around, if there's dodgy handwriting, or, if it's not formatted correctly, what would happen then? We're going to be completely transparent and say that, it's important that, you take a picture, for example, of the student's answer, and it's the writing is quite clear, but the performance of these models is getting a lot better. And, its ability to read not such good handwriting is really strong as well. So, you're not required to have perfect handwriting and perfect formatting, but we encourage you to obviously ensure that, all the words are fitted into the screen, and that you're using a camera that's relatively clear.
So Jamie, as the teacher, would you then have to take a photo of every question's answer? Or do you feed the whole paper in at the same time?
So at the moment, you would have to take a picture of every answer. We're actually working on something really exciting. It's a bit of a technical challenge, but we're not too far away. And that's the ability for you to upload an entire assessment or an entire exam paper of answers, which are handwritten, straight into the platform. And it doesn't matter if there's 40 questions, it will mark all of them at once. Yeah, and that's
a game changer for our rural areas or schools that don't have tech. That's a game changer.
And that's hot off the press. Hey, that's the secret sauce. So no one, yeah. But look that feature. That's really exciting. We're very excited about that one.
So Doc, the question we got here, is it possible to automate marking, like uploading a learner's question paper and the app automatically marks it? I hope that's given you the feedback, but at the moment you do it question by question by taking a photo of it. So I hope that helps.
Yep, absolutely. And for those of you who have asked that question and that you're inquisitive, we'd love to get in touch with you, and we'll go through how you can get in touch with us at the end. But we'd love to get in touch with you because we need your scripts to train, to train the model and to learn how, the different formatting of the different scripts and, how things are submitted and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we're really excited and we'd love to work with you to ensure that we can build something which brings you a lot of value.
So let's see. Okay. So Marcus, what happens?
Let's see. So let's just recap because, let's recap. We've got explain the greenhouse effect and discuss the role of human activities in enhancing this effect. And then you can see I've uploaded a student answer here, and I'm going to submit for marking.
And is this just as quick, or does it take longer?
It's a little bit longer, but the time from now when I click get marked will actually not it will not be too long. I hope. It's still within a reasonable kind of time frame. So should we do it?
Yeah. There's a comment. I love the handwriting feature because it allows learners to develop their language skills, spelling, without the interface of autocorrect and predictions. Yeah, so that's cool. And I mean, at the moment, all our matric exams are still handwritten, so that makes sense that they must still practice handwriting. So yeah, like the comment. Thanks.
Yeah, and we've realized how important that is, having the functionality for handwriting. We're not quite there yet with there. Oh, well done, student. 5 out of 5. Great stuff. Nice. Lovely. So, but I'm sure a lot of you, probably the main thing you're looking for here is what, how did it actually do that? How did it process the handwriting? So remember, we had the photo of the handwriting and the answer. What we do is convert that. We utilize what's called optimal character recognition software to convert the handwriting into a student answer, which is this one here. So you've got the greenhouse effect is the upcoming sun rays that enter the atmosphere, heating the Earth's surface. But greenhouse gases in the atmosphere prevent some heat returning directly to outer space, resulting in the Earth getting warmer. Greenhouse gases let the sun's light shine onto Earth's surface. They trap the heat that reflects into the atmosphere, and we carry on. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wanting to see that original handwriting and map it to the quality of the transcript. But I can reassure you that was exactly what was in the in the image. So we've processed that; it's gone digital, and the students done a great job of answering this particular question. They've got 5 out of 5, and once again, we see that the feedback to the student is really extensive, and we've got a great word of encouragement here at the end because they obviously got 4 marks. Overall, your answer effectively addresses the key components of the question and shows a solid grasp of the topic. Well done on scoring 4 marks. So that's a demonstration of our handwriting piece.
So somebody, Doc's just saying, can you demonstrate the uploading handwriting again? Doc, can I ask you to perhaps watch the video again, because we want to show you some other things, and there are a range of questions. But what I want to say is, so this feedback now, you can copy and paste that. So even if the students themselves don't, it's now a piece of paper that you've uploaded a photo of. Could you copy and paste that into a WhatsApp group or onto another document or things like that can actually then show would that make sense?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we want people to do. You've got now full leverage of this. We haven't introduced a share feature yet, as in the ability for you to share this looking interface directly with the student. We'd love to hear the audience's feedback as to if that would be something you guys would think would be of value. But this is exactly like you said, Karen. You can obviously just copy this straight out into whatever platform you currently use, a Google Doc, a WhatsApp group, an email. Yeah, you can print it. I guess perhaps the best one might be to copy it into a doc and print it out for your students.
And then in terms of taking the marks to another platform, so into a mark book, can you download this as a CSV, or is it a spreadsheet, or what does it become for the teacher to use it with their normal mark books?
You can export it to a CSV, which then allows you to then upload it into your marking software. So some of you may use Adam, some of you may use a different SIS. You might just be used to operating in spreadsheets. You can export everything if you would like.
Cool. We've now got a couple of questions that came in earlier that I think I would like to address. So one that was sent much earlier was, I'm very excited about this. Well done. I was wondering what the mathematics and Afrikaans marking would be like in terms of accuracy. But then there's another question related to language. Where is it? Over here it says, is the tool also applicable to African languages like isiZulu or Setswana? So I suppose you've got languages as the one, and then maths as the other. Perhaps you want to explain to people about your tool and the humanities aspects and things like that. Yeah.
Yes, sounds good. So I'm going to be transparent and say that we developed the tool in mind to mark for longer answers, as I mentioned earlier in the webinar, for your sort of social sciences, your English, your subjects that typically business studies that typically require longer answers. So as you can see, that's hence why we've demoed here. We've had teachers using our platform and utilizing different languages, utilizing the different African languages, utilizing Afrikaans. We've actually had people using it for French as well. And generally, they're very happy with the performance of the model. I'm not going to sit here and say that we've optimized the model to be able to do that, because we're focusing right now on this. But they use it and they enjoy using it for that. So I think what I would say in answer to that particular question about languages would be, I'd encourage you to use it and to try it for this. And then we'd love to hear your feedback, and we'd love to see how you guys think it could perhaps be improved in that regard. And then we have the maths and the science aspect. As all the maths teachers on the call are aware, obviously we have complications with regards to equation editors and different formatting of particular equations when it comes to mathematics. Basic equations like utilization of things like quadratics, like squared and cubed and equals and plus, that's absolutely fine on the model. However, we only provision at the moment for text inputs, or obviously for number inputs, but what I mean is like an open text block, as opposed to, some of you might be familiar with working with that equation editor and square roots and all that sort of thing. So what we would encourage you to do in this regard is to utilize text and to utilize symbolism. So for example, by that I mean, if we had a question of what is the square root of 8, or what is the square root of 8, you could actually type in as your question, what is the square root, as in SQUARE, root of 8, and the AI would be perfect at evaluating that and evaluate. I'm not going to say that you should use it for your PhD mathematics, which utilizes complex equations and numerous different formulas. But again, for high school mathematics, we'd love those teachers out there to have a play around. And again, very excited to work with you to hear your feedback and to see how we can enhance the user experience there.
So we've got a statement when we were talking about looking at the questions and using it somewhere else. Kevin saying Google Forms would be great because you could copy those answers in one go and mark it. Any integration with Google?
Not yet. We've had a bit of feedback around integrations and the numerous learning management systems that teachers use, for example, Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom. We're just exploring and evaluating at the moment which integrations make sense to build. There's quite a lot of different platforms out there, and it would require quite a lot of extensive efforts to build all of those integrations. And that's why we've gone down the route of allowing the export at the moment of the marks so that it's agnostic, and it allows you to then integrate accordingly with your respective platform. But once again, very interesting question and something we were super excited to look into.
And then Doc saying, what is the distinction between this AI tool and other available AI tools such as Google Classroom and quizzes that provide instant feedback? So I suppose this, if I know how we use quizzes is very similar to like a Google form, which is auto-marked in terms of the answers that you can get. And I don't think quizzes can do very long answers, if I remember correctly. And then similarly in Google Classroom, you've got activities where you've got forms that are auto-marked, and then you've got practice sets, which is AI-based, which is a learning kind of space. But then you've got other tasks which the teacher has to mark completely on their own. So Classroom is like a big space where a whole lot of different things happen. I don't know how you want to answer that or address that, Jamie?
No, I would be in agreement with you, Karen. I think, we're focused on the evaluation of, lots of language, of longer answers, essay-based questions and that type of thing. And that's where we're really trying to focus the model on at the moment. The other one is I'm not so sure that Google Classroom has introduced the ability to process the handwritten answers yet, has it? Not
that I know of, no. Yeah, I haven't actually heard of any other tools that actually do handwritten answers. I've always been on the lookout, one, because when you teach little children, you want them to write. So thinking, how can we make that? And then looking at areas where schools just don't have tech. But if the teacher's got a computer that they could use it, for me, that's also exciting. So yeah, I think you've really got a tool here that can really make a huge impact within our country, but across all sorts of emerging markets where technology is still not where it should be in lots of countries and lots of communities. So I think Kevin's saying well done on working on this. I really agree with him. And he's saying, I hope it continues to grow in features and integrations. I think you've got a really great product here that can benefit and help teachers. Yeah, so
Thank you so much. And I'd actually like to conclude by engaging the audience. And actually, what we build, guys, is really based on your input and your feedback. We want to build a tool that brings direct value to you. And hence, what I'd actually love, if it's okay for me to request this, Karen, is for those of you who are on the call to just pop in the chat what the number one feature you would like to see that perhaps you haven't seen on this demo so far. What the number one sort of feature or thing you would like to see on our tool that we can build perhaps to try and enhance the experience for you, because we are relatively early stage and we're still learning, and hence we know that we're not the finished article, but in order to get there, we really need to work with people like yourselves. So I'm very grateful for everybody who's on the call. And yeah, if you do have the chance now to pop your feature request in the chat, then go for it.
What we haven't spoken about is, so Kevin's asking, can individuals sign up currently? But just explain your model for individuals and a school model. So a teacher could sign up or a school could sign up. We haven't spoken about that yet as either.
Sure. So the is the banner still going along the bottom there, Karen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and so it says try for free at www.marking.ai. So please go and visit marking.ai. And then once you visited the website, there's a little button in the top right saying try for free. And you can go on and you click that button and you can sign up and you can do exactly what I've just been doing, showing you the demo here. So that's how I would encourage you to go and sign up. Doc, that's also to your question. That's to provide feedback to me. Karen, do you mind if I share my email address with everybody?
Yes, sure.
Is it best if I join the? Are you able to post in the chat? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm typing.
Okay, so it's Jamie, Jamie.
Yeah.
Rood.
Yeah.
At
Marking.ai, right?
Marking.ai, yeah.
.ai. Yeah. So
And then
here it is in the chat, and I'll pop it onto the. I see it hasn't gone through to LinkedIn. Let me just type it into a banner as well. Cool. So then if we, Doc's question is, how do we provide feedback straight to you? So Doc, that would be using the email address that I've just put on, and I'll pop it onto a new banner as well. But you can also just hop onto the website if you don't catch it here, and send through a mail or a request there as well. So here's Jamie's email as well. Yep. We've got another cool statement. Says, great question, or try it out and share my feedback. That's really great. I think that's what we need. And then there's another statement says, what teachers are struggling with right now is the burden of marking lots of scripts. If this tool can curb that burden, then it's a huge win for us. And I agree. So in my head, when I learned about this and thought once they get or if they had the PDF whole marking thing, imagine maybe we'll get matric papers marked by December again, that students start getting their results earlier rather than they are at the moment. Just think how that could be marked. So markers would actually be moderators checking all the assessments. That for me, it would be so cool in terms of how we're using tech to help just across the space. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then just to wrap up, I have shared the pricing on here. So you get 10 free questions to mark. So that, really allows you to assess whether it's a good tool for you and what the performance of the marking is like. And then this is the pricing here. So you've got a starter plan at $18, which is obviously, what are we, about these days? Yeah, between 300 and 400 Rand a month. And then a pro plan, which is a little bit more expensive. What I am going to say to you all is thank you so much for joining us. And if you would like to use the code Karen Marking AI, then we can give you a 20% discount. So that's Karen Marking AI, and you can utilize that discount code at checkout. The other thing is as I mentioned, I love it when I get emails from users suggesting feedback, wanting to work with us. So, if you reach out to us, we can give you a few extra questions for free. We're always learning. We always want to hear your feedback. So please engage with us, and we're always more than willing, to give you as much usage as you need in order to establish, the value and to see if it works for you.
So I just want to say, Jamie, thank you so much for all the sharing you've done this evening, and for the product that you are busy developing. I think it really is a game changer. Doc's saying what I would like Jamie to do from here on is to align this tool with the South African context. So Doc, you missed that at the beginning. This tool actually is aligned with the South African context already. And Marking.ai is a South African company. So for me, that's even more exciting about this. I know you said you hopped in late, but for me, that's what makes this product even more special, is that it's here at home. So that's really great. So Jamie, as we end off, what would you like to share with people about the product, or what they should do, or anything along the lines to end off the chat?
Thank you so much. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for giving up part of your Thursday evening and joining us. And, we're really hoping that we can make a significant impact on the South African education system, helping teachers from all different types of communities to help you save time, to help you create more efficiencies in your marking process, and ultimately provide that feedback loop to your learners to set them up for success and to help them improve. So visit www.marking.ai, try our tool for free today, and I'm really looking forward to your feedback.
So thanks, everyone. There's a really cool thank you. So thanks for that. And then they're saying we'd love this for orals as well. So here's a feature they want for speaking. So thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic evening. Hope you're warm. Hope you are comfortable and safe. And we look forward to chatting to you soon. Have a good evening. Good night.